In 2016, the Marg Institute, together with Survey Research Lanka, did a survey, a public opinion survey on corruption. We used a sample. In this particular case, we only interviewed a sample of 400 because of budget constraints. But yet, it gave us quite a lot of information, indicative type information, which we would like to present to you today. Like I told you before, the survey used a sample of only 400. The survey had actually two parts. One was a media scan. We looked at all the news articles, radio news, TV news on corruption. And the second part was the public opinion survey. So when looking at all the news items that were published in January 2016, there were 374 news items. And if you take the value of that space, according to the rate card at that time, it was somewhere like 10,012,628 rupees. The main news items that were published during that time was about avant-garde, about the former defense secretary, the defense secretary during before 2015, that is, the former cabinet minister for economic development, the minister for economic development before 2015, the former first lady, the president of Sri Lanka, the first lady during 2005 to 2015, that period, and the son of the former president of Sri Lanka. We also looked at what public say about corruption, and we like to see whether we have learned anything from it, and also what they say about how they're going to vote for public representatives. 63% of the sample ranked cost of living as the first issue they felt that needs to be solved. 30% ranked bribery and corruption as the second issue that needs to be solved. But the interesting part is around 16% stated that it's the first issue that needs to be solved. That was back in 2016. So who was associated with bribery and corruption in that particular survey? Number one, politicians and the former government. Schools, that's an interesting point. The police, government ministries, and customs. 3 out of 5 persons who were interviewed stated that level of bribery and corruption had increased during the 2010 to 2015 period. 2 out of 5 of the sample believe that the level of corruption has reduced after 2015. 82%, now this is the point I want to make, 82% stated that they will not vote for a people's representative who has a record of corruption, 82%. 61% said absolutely not. They will never vote for a person who has some form of or record of corruption. And further 11% said, well, probably not, but 61% said definitely not. At that time, when we were talking about various laws against bribery and corruption, almost 60%, 59% were not aware of the existing laws. I'm sure things have changed now. People are aware of what are the laws that are set in place against bribery and corruption. Now, these were the suggestions that the persons who were interviewed for that particular survey came up. Enforce current laws strictly. 77% said enforce the law strictly. 51% said send offenders to jail. 50% said teach ethics and morals in schools. 49% said carry out a public campaign against corruption. We all know none of these things happened during the Yahapalanaya government. I won't go into that. But let's see what people said during a very recent survey, where we put out a Google form and over 2,500 persons responded to that Google form. But of course, there again, it has its limitations when you interview people on an online kind of process, because there is no, it's not a probability sampling technique that is used. Anyone and whoever who wants to respond will respond, and we take it as data. So there is a question about the error margin, and so therefore we have to also take this as indicative. But let's see what came out of our survey, which we did just a week ago, a couple of weeks ago to be exact. Here, 61% say that the current economic crisis is due to corruption. Now, you and I know it's not due to corruption alone, it's due to decisions that have been taken, economic policies. We carry a debt for some time, but this is the opinion of people. I'm just, expressing what people said in our survey. 61% say that's the current economic crisis is due to corruption. 99% of the people whom we interview say that there should be a system change. They're talking about system changing. Okay, we didn't ask any political questions in our survey. 25% say that the system's change should take place in the political sector. 83% suggest a team of specialists to bring about a system change. Like politicians alone can't do. We need to get people. We need to get people who are experts in education, experts in constitutional law, experts in health, agriculture. All these people should come in and work together and bring about this system change. And they will bring about this system change. So we believe when you ask certain open-ended questions, we believe that this motivation for protests that's going on right now, of course, number one is cost of living, and corruption is also something that people are talking about. And finally, we believe that people understand the cost of corruption. So my question to you today is, what can you and I do to bring the system change, to make this system change a reality? I believe that it starts with us. And I would like to present to you 6 points, 6 things that we can do. And number one is zero tolerance for corruption. No room for corruption. Support all anti-corruption moves that whichever government that comes in, that sets in place in all sectors, support that. Support reforms. People are talking about electoral reforms, reforms in the education sector, in the public service sector. Support that. It might hurt us, but support us. It's only then we can bring about the system change. Well, it's not me alone who's talking about it, it's you too, because according to our, this dipstick study, like a study that we call a rapid exploratory survey, 99% say we need a system change. So I believe these are things that we need to do. Number 3, be informed. Listen objectively to both sides of a story and then decide wisely. Don't have selective hearing. Be civic conscious. Number 4, do your civic duties, vote responsibly, and pay your taxes. There's so much you and I can do as civic conscious citizens. Number 5, condemn racism, because we have been divided far too long by our leaders. They brought about all types of issues and things that have divided us. They have not united us. We can make this change by deciding, no, I'm not going to leave room for racism in my under my watch. No racism. So through that, pave the way for coexistence and harmony for a united Sri Lanka. Number 6, very important, be non-partisans. Don't take political sides. Put your country first without political prejudices. And I believe if we follow this, right, you and I can play our little part to create a better Sri Lanka. Thank you. Connect with us by following our Facebook page, Marg Institute. Have a nice day.